company is Three Girls Media and Marketing, Inc. We are a public relations and social media management agency. And before I get started with the presentation, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about my background and how I got started in beginning my business and where I came from. So my original career right out of college was broadcasting. I was on air here in the San Francisco Bay Area for 22 years, doing mostly radio, but also some television. On TV, I worked for the WB network, hosting Simpsons and Star Trek marathons. And then on radio, I was a news journalist and covered news for all kinds of things, including Bill Clinton's presidential race and election, and the Loma Prieta earthquake, and the Oakland Hills fire, and things like that. I also co-hosted morning shows in San Francisco for the last 10 years of my career and was a DJ. And then ultimately decided to leave broadcasting for a career that was involved with the media, but not necessarily as a member of the media. So I went to work for a public relations agency in Silicon Valley and started with them as a junior level account executive, telling them that I would teach them everything that I knew about media if they taught me what they knew about PR. And one CEO was crazy enough to say yes and hired me on as a junior level account executive. And within 2 years, I became their senior director of media relations. So I worked there for a while, learned everything I could from that particular agency, and then it was time to spread my wings a little bit further. So I became a press secretary for the California State Legislature. And I worked for the State Assembly for a few years and helped see a couple of assembly members through the 2004 election cycle and helped them get reelected. And after that was over, I knew one thing, and I knew it absolutely for sure, and that was I was done with politics. No more politics. It was actually the first time in my public relations career that I really felt disingenuous about what I was putting out there to the public and to the media. So I knew it was time for another career change, and at that point I knew that I could go back to work for another Silicon Valley PR agency and make a very good income working 70, 80 hours a week for somebody else, or I could do something different. And at that point I really thought that I could build a better PR mousetrap than was currently out there, so I decided to launch my own company. And that was in June of 2005. I launched Three Girls Media and Marketing on my own. And so this month we're celebrating our 7th anniversary. And I've now grown our team to a team of 8. So we provide public relations services and social media management services. On the public relations side, what we do is we help our clients get editorial media coverage in TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, websites, and blogs. We also do things like press releases and media advisories and help people promote events and that sort of thing. And then on the social media management side, what we are for the most part are ghostwriters. We research content, we write content, and we post content. And we do that for most of the social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and Pinterest. We also do it for our clients' e-newsletters and for their blogs. So most small business owners, which is our primary clientele, we work with small and emerging companies. In my opinion, often the companies who need the PR the most but can afford it the least. So we price our services very affordably for the small business owner in mind. And most of the time, small business owners are so focused on their day-to-day operations and what they need to do to keep their business running that they rarely have time for the marketing and social media that needs to be done in their behalf. So that's where we come in and we help you with those services and make you look great to your public and your constituents, and we're simply the wizards behind the curtain. It just makes you look great on the outside. So that's a little bit about my background and what we do, and today what I'm going to be sharing with you are some really terrific, great, free and low-cost public relations resources that you can use starting today to help you gain a foothold in your business and gain some traction in ways that you may not have thought of before. So the first thing that we're going to cover is a terrific service called Haro, and Haro stands for Help a Reporter Out. And you can find it at helpareporter.com. And what you do is you go to helpareporter.com and you sign up for their service. And then what will happen is twice a day, you are going to receive an email from Haro. And in that email, there are going to be anywhere from 25 to 30 different queries from journalists all over the country seeking sources for their stories. And it's every medium you could imagine: TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, websites, blogs, books. And the journalists will tell you specifically what they're looking for in terms of expertise or a resource. And if you feel that you meet that need and that you can have that you can provide them with what they're looking for, you simply email them and tell them how you can help them. And then ideally they will email you back, and you end up with some very nice editorial media coverage for yourself. Or you might end up as part of a book, or being interviewed for a program or a news article or something like that. So this is a terrific free way, bless you, it's a terrific free way to get yourself some editorial media coverage. And I can tell you that the stories that come across in Haro are in every possible field you could imagine, everything under the sun. So if you're thinking, oh, there's probably nothing in there that's going to apply to me, I would say give it time. You'll find a query sooner or later that matches your level of expertise and what they're looking for. And especially if you're getting, 50 different queries a day, you know that there's going to be a huge variety for you to choose from and for you to see. And the nice thing is, when these queries come to your inbox, there's a table of contents up at the top that you can skim very quickly to see the general subject line. And then if you feel that you have a match for that subject line, then you can scroll further down and read the entire query. So you can skim them very quickly up at the top instead of having to read the full article of each one. Now, there are two other resources that are very similar to Haro, and they do pretty much exactly the same thing. One is called pitchrate.com, and the other one is called reporterconnection.com. And it's the same thing. You sign up, and it's free, and you receive an email on a daily basis with journalist queries. Yeah, it's really, really cool, and it's a great way for, again, for you to get some nice editorial media coverage for yourself and let your expertise be heard. Does anybody have any questions about this type of service? All right, terrific. Then let's move on to our next resource. So, Google Alerts. How many of you are familiar with Google Alerts? Great, most of you. How many of you are using Google Alerts for your business? A few of you. Okay, terrific. Now, if you're not using Google Alerts for your business, it's a great idea to get in the habit of doing this. So the way to do it is you go to google.com/alerts, and what that will do is it will allow you to enter a set of keywords that are related to your business. So for example, you can put the name of your business, you can put the category of your business, like pet sitting or wine or fitness or that sort of thing, and you can put as many different keywords as you would like into a Google alert. And then what will happen is, as Google surfs the internet and the robots go out there and search all the content that's online, as they find something that matches the keywords that you have entered, it will send you an email and let you know what news is out there related to that specific keyword. So this is a great way to keep track of not only what news is going on out there about your company and your company name and where you might be appearing in the news, but also your competitors and what's going on with them. So I highly recommend that you not only enter the name of your business to keep tabs on what's out there in the news about you, but also include the name of some of your competitors so you can keep track on what's out there in the news about them. And also with general terms about your industry, like fitness or chiropractic care or financial services or something like that, you can also keep track on general news about your industry. And Google Alerts will pull up the latest articles for you, the latest news results, so you can really stay educated and on top of your game in your particular industry and what it is you do. And so Google Alerts, again, will send you an email to your inbox, every time that they find something that matches the keywords that you've entered into the system. Now, besides using Google Alerts for business, you can also use Google Alerts for fun things. If you're a huge fan of certain celebrities, you can enter their name and get the latest news on them. If you're a huge fan of a certain sports team, you can enter that and get news on that. Or the Summer Olympics are coming up, so if you're an Olympics junkie, you can enter the Olympics and get all the Olympics updates. So there are a lot of fun uses for Google Alerts too, but for business, it's really, really practical, and it's a great free way to be able to keep tabs on not only what's going on with your business and your competitor's business, but also in your industry at large. So I highly recommend using Google Alerts for your business. Any questions about that? All right, terrific. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Social Mention. Socialmention.com. Now, Social Mention is very similar to Google Alerts, but where Google Alerts pulls news from news sources online and websites online, Socialmention.com pulls things from social media. Google Alerts does not pull things from social media. Social Mention does. So Social Mention works exactly the same way. You go to socialmention.com and you enter keywords, again, the name of your business, competitor's business, keywords about your industry at large, and then anytime those terms come up in any type of social media, you'll receive an alert from socialmention.com. So again, this is another really nice way to keep tabs on what's being mentioned about your company, your competitors, or your industry in the social media space. And it pulls stories from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, Foursquare, Instagram, really, all the big social media networks out there. So you can keep tabs on your business and your competitors and industry that way as well. So I recommend signing up for both socialmention.com and Google Alerts and entering the same set of keywords in both, so you can keep track of what's going on not only in the rest of the online space but also in the social media networks as well. Any questions about that?
So every time you post something in Facebook using one of your keywords, it'll show up in that?
That's correct. Or anytime anybody else mentions the name of your company or one of your keywords or name of a competitor in a social media post, it will also show up in Social Mention.
Interesting.
Any other questions about that? Okay, let's move on.
Lots of sites.
All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Hootsuite.com. How many of you are familiar with Hootsuite? A few of you, terrific. So Hootsuite is an enormous time saver when it comes to your social media efforts. So Hootsuite is known as a social media aggregator. And the way I recommend using Hootsuite for your social media is to schedule an appointment with yourself every single week, a half an hour to 45 minutes long. Now, it does not matter when you schedule this appointment with yourself. You can do it early in the morning before the kids get up and you have to go to work. You can do it late at night after things have calmed down and you're back from work. You could do it on the weekends. You can do it on your lunch hour. Doesn't really matter. But the key is that you schedule this half an hour to 45-minute appointment with yourself every single week, and you keep that appointment just like it was a doctor's appointment or an appointment with a client or something like that. It's an appointment with yourself that you must keep. And then once you have that appointment, what you're going to do is get into Hootsuite.com, which is another free service, and during that appointment, you are going to write all of your social media updates for the entire week, all in one appointment. And then what Hootsuite will allow you to do is schedule every single post that you write out into the future at a specified day and time that you would like it to appear. And you can do this for Facebook, for Twitter, for LinkedIn, and for many other social networks. So you can write all of your updates during this one appointment, and using Hootsuite, schedule them out to appear later in the week when you would like them to go. So it's an enormous time saver. So instead of having to get on your social media networks every day and come up with something to post on a daily basis, instead you're doing it in this one appointment you've made with yourself during the week, and then all you have to do on a daily basis with your social media is think about fan engagement and look for people who are commenting, sharing, and responding to them instead of trying to think of coming up with new content to post on a daily basis. So Hootsuite is an enormous time saver when it comes to your social media efforts, and can really be a great way for you to compartmentalize your social media efforts into a very short time frame, one time a week. And keeping that appointment with yourself is a great way to do it. And there's another service that's very similar to Hootsuite and is also free. It's called TweetDeck. TweetDeck.com works exactly the same way, and Hootsuite and TweetDeck are both totally free, and they both work the same way. So it's just personal preference which one you'd like to use. And then there's a third site called SocialMention.com. Now, Social Mention is not a free service, but it does work exactly the same way as Hootsuite and TweetDeck, where you can schedule things out in advance for your social media. But what Social Mention will provide you is it allows you to manage multiple accounts at the same time. So for example, at Three Girls Media and Marketing, we manage social media accounts for many different clients. So we can do that on socialmention.com as opposed to Hootsuite or TweetDeck, where we can only post for one particular client and have one particular type of social media up there. So if you're in a position where you might have two different businesses that you're focused on and you need to do social media updates for two different businesses, or you manage social media for a variety of people, using a service like socialmention.com would be a great way to go. The other nice thing about Social Mention is it provides you with nice analytics about your social media, and really nice analytics beyond what you can get from Hootsuite or TweetDeck. So it'll give you information, for example, about your most popular posts, who your demographics are when it comes to your social media, and that sort of thing. So Social Mention's least expensive service, I believe, is $17 a month. So not very expensive if you needed to use it for something like that. But again, Hootsuite and TweetDeck are both entirely free. Any questions? Yes.
So I've heard that your posts for Facebook and Twitter should be different.
Yes.
And so does Hootsuite allow you to do to distinguish between them, or if you write one post, is it going to go to both places?
No, it will absolutely allow you to distinguish individual posts and different content for the different social networks, and that's a great point. Your social media posts should absolutely be different for every single platform that you are posting on. Each platform has its own unique audience and own unique demographic, and your posts should meet the needs and the voice of that particular demographic. So, for example, LinkedIn is very professional. It's where all the business people are. So if you're posting on LinkedIn, your post should be very businesslike, very professional, and have that sort of professional air and tone to them. As opposed to Facebook, where it's a little more casual and a little more friendly. So your post can be a little more personable, you can show a little more personality in your posts and sort of let your hair down a little bit. You know, you still want to be professional, of course, because you're business people, but it's an opportunity for you to show a little bit more of your personality and spirit when it comes to your business, and have a more casual voice. And then on something like Twitter, you have to be very brief in what you do. So you need to become a master at capturing people's attention in just 140 characters or less. And then if you're doing something on Google Plus works entirely differently. The great thing about Google Plus and that social media network is that everything you post on Google Plus is searchable by Google. So on Google Plus, if you're using good keywords in your posts, anytime somebody searches for those keywords, your post is going to come up in search results on Google. So it has its own unique way of writing as well, because you want to make sure you're including good keywords on Google+. Now, Pinterest is largely based on images. So what you want to put there in terms of content and voice is you can also be a little more casual. Pinterest demographic are largely women, so you'd be speaking to largely women who are viewing on Pinterest. And you have to also be relatively brief, no more than 2 to 3 sentences. About the length of a Facebook post on Pinterest is appropriate. So each particular network has its own unique voice, own unique characteristics, and each of your updates should definitely be specified for those individual networks. Now, sometimes you are going to have something that you want to share on multiple platforms. Maybe it's an article, or maybe it's a tip, or maybe it's a question you want to ask, or whatever, and you want to do that across multiple platforms. So it's perfectly okay to do that, but what you want to do is you want to introduce it differently on each individual platform. So let's say, for example, you're going to share an article and you're going to share it on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. All you have to do is introduce that article differently for each particular platform so it meets the voice and demographics of that network. So your introduction to that article on LinkedIn would be very professional and businesslike. On Facebook, it would be a little more casual and maybe a little more opinionated or something like that. And then on Twitter, you go for the brevity and for capturing their attention in a brief span of 140 characters. So you can still share similar content across multiple networks as long as you introduce it differently and have that different voice that matches your particular demographics for each network. Yes.
So you were talking about TweetDeck and Hootsuite. What's the Sprout Social thing?
Oh, did I say, what was I saying, social mention? I meant
Yeah.
Sprout Social. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I was
Wrong
confused
word.
a little bit.
My mistake. I'm sorry. Social mention was what we were talking about before that's similar to Google Alerts. Sprout Social is what I was talking about. That's the paid service where you can manage multiple accounts at the same time. For when it comes to your social media. So if you have more than one business and you need to manage multiple social media accounts for that, Sprout Social is what you want to use. And that's what we use at Three Girls Media and Marketing to manage the multiple accounts for all the clients that we manage their social media campaigns for. So yes, Sprout Social. And Sprout Social will also give you very nice analytics when it comes to your social media. Now, as long as we're on the topic of social media, I can mention a couple other general best practices when it comes to social media. So one of the things that I find a lot of small business owners make mistakes on when it comes to posting social media content is that they're not following what I call the 80-20 rule of social media. And what the 80-20 rule of social media dictates is that 80% of your content should be helpful information. It should be tips and tricks, it should be articles, it can be questions, polls, advice, that sort of thing. It's what I like to call infotainment or edutainment that you're providing to your readers. And then 20% of the content should be self-promotional, where it's okay to talk about your business and talk about your services and what you do and what you offer and maybe specials you're having or simply about the services you offer and that sort of thing. But that should only be 20% of the content that you put out there on social media. The other 80% should not be self-promotional. People don't get on social media platforms to be sold to. And so what they're really looking for is that advice, that those tips and tricks and helpful advice or interesting information or images or videos or that sort of thing. That's what people get on social media for. And if you oversell them and talk too much about your business, all it's going to do is turn people off. And that's not what you want to do. You want to endear them to your brand and give them a reason to follow you on social media and keep coming back and seeing your posts and what you're up to. So keeping that 80-20 rule in mind is generally really important when it comes to any social media platform. And it doesn't matter which one you're on, it applies to all of them across the board. Any questions about that? Okay, great. So another best practice when it comes to social media is the frequency of your posting. And some of you are probably going to be shocked by what I tell you next. And that is that you should be posting at a minimum on a daily basis on your social media platforms on a daily basis. The lifespan of a post on Facebook is only 90 minutes. That's about how long it lives in somebody's news feed. So on Facebook, it's absolutely appropriate to post up to 2 to 3 times a day. That's what we do at Three Girls Media Marketing. We post something in the morning, something in the middle of the day, and then something again in the late afternoon or evening. And that's so when anybody logs on to Facebook at any given time during the day, there's a high likelihood of one of our posts being in their newsfeed and them being able to see that. And using a tool like Hootsuite or TweetDeck or Sprout Social is a great way, again, to get all of these updates written so you don't have to think about it on a daily basis and think, oh my gosh, what 3 posts am I going to come up with Facebook for today? You can do it all in that one appointment with yourself one time a week. Then on Twitter, the lifespan of a tweet is only 60 minutes. It's even shorter than it is on Facebook. So on Twitter, it's perfectly appropriate to post up to even 5 times a day, as much as even 10 times a day, if you have that kind of content that you can post. So it's a lot of posting, but at an absolute minimum, you should be posting at least once a day on all of your social media platforms. Google Plus, same thing. You should be posting a minimum of daily, up to multiple times a day. On something like Pinterest, what we recommend is posting a minimum of maybe 4 to 5 times a week. But then each time you post on Pinterest, we recommend posting multiple things. So you might be posting 3 to 5 times a week, but each time you post, you're going to be posting maybe 2 to 4 items on Pinterest.
How do you spell that?
Pinterest, Pinterest, Pinterest.com. Is everybody familiar with Pinterest? Some of you know? Okay.
Friends do
I
it.
have a question.
Yes.
Where do the images come from? Are you just pulling them anywhere and posting them?
That's the slide that I have, and I'm going to
okay.
talk about images in just a few minutes and
Okay.
where you can get safe images online where you don't have to worry about copyrights. So we are going to cover that.
Okay.
So what Pinterest is it's a social media network that's based on images. So instead of posting just words like you would on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, or Google+, you're posting up an image. And that image can be of anything. And what you do on Pinterest is create what they call bulletin boards. So you create a bulletin board for your company, and then underneath your company name, you can post as many different bulletin boards as you would like. So for example, at Three Girls Media Marketing, we have our company page, and then we have different bulletin boards for several different categories, including public relations, social media, branding, marketing, advertising, business advice, writing, and each of those are different boards. And then what we can do is we post content to those individual bulletin boards that relate to that board. And at Three Girls Media Marketing, we don't have a lot of visuals. We don't have products or things like that or food that we can show images of. So what we do instead on Pinterest is every single blog post that we write has an image that is associated with it. So we take that image that is associated with our blog post and we post that image up to Pinterest. And then for text, we put the headline of the blog article and maybe the first couple of sentences. And so then when somebody sees that image and sees the words and they click on that image, what it does is take them directly back to our blog. So it drives traffic back to our website and back to our blog and gives us additional visibility on a social networking platform, even though we're a business that doesn't naturally have a lot of images to share. Now, you can also share images of yourself. You can put your headshot up there with a link to your bio. You can put, if you have staff and team members, you can put their images up there. People like to know who they are working with. If you have other images that are related to your particular business, like maybe you've got clients working out, or maybe you've got pets that you can show, or different types of wine, or something like that, These are all different images that you can use, that you can take and post to Pinterest. Now, the one thing on Pinterest that you do need to be very, very careful about is copyright infringement when it comes to images. And I do have a slide coming up in just a minute where I'm going to show you a safe link where you can go to get images online that are free and safe to use. And it's extremely important. I actually had a client last month that was sued by Getty Images because they had accidentally used an image on their blog that was copyrighted and they didn't buy a license for it. So Getty Images sued them and they ended up having to pay nearly $1,000 in a settlement fee just because of that one image that was up on their blog. And so it's extremely important that you're very, very careful when it comes to images online, and that whether you're using them for a blog, your website, any newsletter, a collateral, no matter what it is, that you're using images that are safe. So we're gonna get to that in just a little bit. But that's Pinterest. It's a social networking platform that's based on images, and it skews largely female. It's about 65% female, 35% male on Pinterest. So if you're trying to reach a female demographic, Pinterest is a great social networking platform for you to be involved in. Any questions about that?
Are you gonna go into Pinterest more? My question has to do with your own personal account versus your business account on Pinterest.
Sure. Well, we can talk about that in general when it comes to social media as a whole, and whether you should have a personal account or business page on any social networking platform, whether it comes to Pinterest, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube, anything like that. And so my opinion is that you should have a personal page for your personal life and then a business page for your business. And the two should not mix. They should not mix. Business should be business and personal should be personal. Now, for example, I have a personal page on Facebook, but honestly, I never use it. I maybe post there once every several months. But what I do use all the time on Facebook is my company page on Facebook, and I'm constantly posting there. And on almost every other social networking platform, I have a personal page because most of them require you to set up a personal page first before you can set up a business page, but I rarely use those personal pages. I'm really all about the business aspect of it and using them for business. So I recommend that you keep your business separate from your personal life. Keep your personal, business, and make sure you have business pages set up on every single different platform that you need to be on for your business. Does that help you with your question?
Yes, so that means right now on Pinterest, I've mixed business and personal. Should I create the business and then take everything off of my personal that relates to business and repost it on the business account?
Well, what I would say is that you should create a business account, and then you can take the things that are on your personal page that are related to business and repost them. But I wouldn't necessarily say you have to take them down from your personal page. You know, you've gone to the work to put them up there, so go ahead and leave them there. But it's fine to repost them on your business page, and then moving forward, just post on your business page instead of your personal page, unless it's something that is indeed truly personal and you wanted to have that on your personal site instead.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Any other questions about that or social media in general? Yes.
You may cover this in another slide, but based on certain types of businesses, are there recommended platforms that you should be more focused on than others?
Absolutely, definitely. So I do not believe that every single business needs to be on every single social media platform. Now, I am at Three Girls Media Marketing because it's our business. That's what we do. So we need to be everywhere. But I don't believe that that's necessary for every single business. So my recommendation is that you focus on maybe 2 to 3 different networks that meet the demographics of your particular business and who you're trying to reach. So you need to learn the demographics of the various social networking platforms and figure out where your demographics are, and then focus your time on those 2 or 3 different networks. So for example, LinkedIn is where the professionals are. If you're trying to reach other business people, be they business owners, entrepreneurs, people in HR, other people you would relate to on a business level for any reason, LinkedIn is definitely the place to be. And you can now create a business page on LinkedIn just like you can on Facebook. It's something new that they started offering about 6 months ago. They didn't have business pages before on LinkedIn, but now you can create a business page. Demographics on LinkedIn are pretty evenly male and female, and it's very professional and business oriented. So if those are the type of people you need to reach, you want to be on LinkedIn. When it comes to Facebook, the demographics are about 55, 45. When it comes to male, female, skew slightly higher female, but not by much. And Facebook, really in terms of core demographic now, their ages are about 24 to 55. Really the teenagers are leaving Facebook. When it started, it used to be all about the kids and teenagers on Facebook, but that demographic is really diminishing on Facebook, and now it's many more businesses that are signing up on Facebook and a little bit more mature audience. So if you're trying to reach men and women between the ages of say 25 and 54, Facebook is a great place to be. Twitter skews slightly more male. It's about 65% male on Twitter. And in terms of age range on Twitter, Twitter is about, ranges from about, I'd say about 18 to about 45 is the age range on Twitter. But really the core on Twitter is about 25 to 45 in that age range. So if you're trying to reach men and women in that age demographic and maybe slightly more male, Twitter is a good place for you to be. On Google Plus, the demographics are about even, men and women, slightly more men. It's about 60-40 on Google Plus, and the age demographic there tends to also skew a little bit older. You're looking at about 25 to 54 on Google Plus in terms of demographics. So if that's who you're trying to reach, you'd want to be there. Pinterest skews largely female. It's about 65-70% female on Pinterest, and the demographics there are about 20 to 65. So it's a very broad age range on Pinterest of about 18 to 65-year-olds, but the real core demographic, if you had to narrow it down on Pinterest, is probably 30 to 60. In that age range, and largely female. So if that's who you're trying to reach, that's where you'd want to be, is on Pinterest. So it really depends on who you're trying to reach, what your demographics are, and I'd pick 2 or 3 and just focus on those and do those very well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question.
Sure.
You mentioned needing to be careful about photos.
Yes.
Now I know on YouTube, when I post my movies, I have to be very careful about what music I use.
Yes.
Do I have to use that same caution for all the other sites?
In terms of music?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Music is the same thing. You know, the recording industry has really started to crack down on people. There was actually recently a lawsuit about somebody who had been downloading music and sharing it on their site. It was a gentleman. He's in his early 20s, and he ended up having to, there was a settlement against him or a judgment against him for $600,000.
Oh.
And he's like 22 years old. And he lost the case. So it's extremely important, and that's a brand new case. The news just came out like 2 weeks ago. So it's extremely important, whether it's music or images, that you're very careful about what you use. Extremely important. Yes.
Is there any website for baby boomers?
Baby
Any
boomers.
popular?
Yes, they're
Well,
over 55.
yeah, over 55.
I love Facebook.
60 grand.
I would definitely say Facebook and Pinterest are probably where the most baby boomers are. Yeah, Facebook and Pinterest is the couple different places to be there to reach the baby boomers for sure. Any other questions about social media in general? All right, terrific. Then let's move on to our next slide. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is videos. Videos. How many of you have video on your websites? Oh, good. A lot of you. That's terrific. Well, video is great for a couple of reasons. One, it skews very, very high when it comes to search engine optimization. The search engines love video, so that's really great to have that on your website. Videos are also really great because it's a different medium for you to be able to share information about your business. And for those of you who don't have a flip cam and aren't recording yourself personally on video talking, this service, Animoto.com, is a great way for you to be able to create a video very quickly, very easily, and put it up either on your website or on YouTube. And it's so fast and easy, it's unbelievable. You can actually create your own video on Animoto in like 5 to 10 minutes. It's really that fast and simple and easy. And it syncs with all of these different services: Facebook, Flickr, Picasa, PhotoBucket, SmugMug. So any place you have pictures stored online in any of those places, they sync with Animoto.com, so you can pull up images and include the images in your video. And Animoto also has room for you to include text, where you type in text. They have a choice for you to choose different types of backgrounds and that sort of thing. And then they also have a very large music library that you can choose music from, or you can upload your own MP3. So you upload your images, you type in your text, you choose your music that you like to have, and then you press the button, and Animoto takes, you have to be patient, it's not instantaneous like we're so used to on the internet. It takes probably about 2 to 3 minutes for it to go through the process and actually create an animated video out of those things for you. And it is a really nice animated video. It's not simply a slideshow, it's much more than that. And it's a great way to get video on your site or on YouTube without having to invest any money. It's absolutely a free service, and to expand your video profile online. Now there's another service called Goanimate, Goanimate.com, and Goanimate provides pretty much exactly the same thing. It's also a free service, works pretty much the same way, also very easy to use, and upload your own images and text and music to, and end up with a very, very nice animated video that's about 60 to 90 seconds long for your business. Yes?
So as I look at these sites and I start reading the fine print, they start talking about commercial use. And then you have to start paying. So are our small businesses considered commercial use?
No, definitely not. Not commercial use. So commercial use would be like if you were using it for advertising purposes, for example, and that sort of thing. But if you're simply using it for your business website or to put up on YouTube, that's perfectly fine, and that's not a problem.
So if we use one of their videos to promote our business, does that make it commercial? I mean, we're talking about the services that we offer in the Animoto video.
No, I don't think that makes it commercial use. I certainly did that for myself. We did an Animoto video for 3 Girls Media and Marketing before I actually had a regular video recorded of me and me speaking to visitors on our website. We had an Animoto video there first before I had a video made of me, and it talked all about our services and what we offer as a company and that sort of thing. And that's really not commercial use. It was just on our website. We weren't broadcasting it at a whole bunch of different places. We weren't using it for advertising purposes or anything like that. So as long as you're just going to use it on your website and talk about your business, you're perfectly fine.
Did you put it on YouTube?
Yes. Yes, it was
Just
hosted on
lift it up
YouTube.
and put it down.
What was that?
The phone.
The
They're
time
trying to
the
figure out how
phone's
to.
not
The
ringing.
phone's just ringing.
They were
Fine.
doing.
5 minutes.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about commercial usage as long as you're just using it for your business on your website or posting it to YouTube. As long as you're not using it for advertising purposes or that sort of thing, you're just fine.
Okay.
Any other questions about these types of video services?
We have 5 minutes left.
Okay, well, let me skim through here to our next thing. Business to Blogger. So Business to Blogger is a great service where you can get yourself some blog coverage for your business, some editorial blog coverage for your business. So you go to businesstoblogger.com, and this sort of works as the opposite of Haro, help a reporter out. So with Business to Blogger, instead of the bloggers telling you what they want from you and matching your expertise, instead you tell the bloggers what you want, and then they come back to you and say, okay, I'm happy to do a blog on this topic. So for example, you could say, I would like you to review my book, or I would like you to come to my restaurant and try my food and then write a review. Or I would like you to take a fitness class with me and then write a blog post about it and do a review of the class, or something like that. So you get to tell the bloggers exactly what you would like them to do for your business, and then ask them to write a review or a blog post about that for you. Now, Business to Blogger is not 100% free. Each blogger contact costs about $1 a piece. So you're going to end up paying about $1, maybe $2 for a nice blog post written about whatever it is you'd like them to write about. So not free, but very low cost and very worthwhile to get some links coming back to your website and some nice blog articles written about whatever it is you'd like written about. All right, so freepressrelease.com. Freepressrelease.com is a great place to submit your press releases online for absolutely free. Now, there is a free service with freepressrelease.com, and putting press releases up there is great for your search engine optimization, but what it does not do is it does not get your press release to the media. It simply posts it online on their site. So it's good for your search engine optimization, but it's not actually distributed to the media or to the press at large, but it's really good for SEO. Now, freepressrelease.com also has a couple of paid services. One is $1 and one is $30. And if you pay for those services, you get additional features. For example, no advertising on your press release, or being allowed to use hyperlinks in your press release, or add an image or a logo or that sort of thing. So you can use it 100% free, or you can pay for their $1 or $30 service. But again, it's really good for search engine optimization and a way to get your press releases up online for free if you choose to just use the free route. And then, if you want to get a little more breadth and depth with your press release, you're going to want to use a service like Marketwire. Now, Marketwire.com does submit your press releases to dozens, if not hundreds and thousands of journalists and media outlets across whatever geographic area you specify. So you can do it as small as the San Francisco Bay Area, or you can do it as large as nationwide, just depending on who you're trying to reach. Now, a Marketwire release for the San Francisco Bay Area costs $195, so there is a fee associated with it, and it is not extremely inexpensive. It's about $200, but it's absolutely worth what you get for it. Not only does it send your release to dozens and dozens of journalists and media outlets across whatever geographic area you specify, but it also puts it on all of the different search engines: Google, Yahoo, Bing, AltaVista, Dogpile, everything you can imagine. And it also is terrific for your search engine optimization. And it's great to get your press release out there in as wide a range as absolutely possible. There's another service, prweb.com, which does something very similar to Marketwire. It's less expensive than Marketwire, but these services, you get what you pay for. So it really is worth it, I think, if you have a really important release you want to get out there, to put it on Marketwire as opposed to PRWeb. If the news isn't as important, you can take the cheaper route and go for PRWeb and manage it that way. But these are really, you get what you pay for. All right, safe images online. So there's only one place online where you can go to get safe images for newsletters, for Pinterest, for blogs, or other materials where you do not have to worry about copyright infringement. And that's Flickr's Creative Commons. Flickr's Creative Commons. And this is the address, and you want to use this very specific web address. And if you use the images on this address, and there are millions of them there, so you'll definitely be able to find an image that's applicable to whatever it is you need it for. The only thing that you are required to do is provide attribution to that photographer. So that means that you have to give the photographer's name, and then you have to link back to the photographer's site, either to the photographer's specific website or their page on Flickr. And the photographer will let you know, usually, on their image, which they want you to do. And so if you provide attribution by name and you link back to their site, that's all you have to do in order to use that image totally for free. But it's important that you provide that attribution. And so what we generally do is we find all of the images here for our blog posts and that sort of thing. And at the very bottom of every single blog post, we have a tiny little italicized line that says photo credit John Doe and then a link to their site. And so it doesn't have to be obtrusive or, in the way of the other content you're providing. It can be very small and out of the way as long as you do provide that attribution. But this is the one safe place to go to get images online where you know you're not going to have to worry about copyright infringement. And lastly, here's my information. So this is where you can find me online on all the various social media networks. And one of the things that I do offer is a complimentary 30-minute consultation where we have the opportunity to talk specifically about your business goals and your needs, and we can discuss how Three Girls Media and Marketing may be able to help you with your public relations or your social media management. If you're feeling overwhelmed with your social media and you know you need to be doing it, but you don't have the time to be posting for yourself on a regular basis, that's exactly what we do for you. We become your ghostwriters, and we do the research, the writing, and we post on your behalf for all the social networking platforms as well as blogs and e-newsletters. And then on the PR side, we can help you with press releases or editorial media coverage for your company or helping you promote events and that sort of thing. So each of you should have a business card of mine, and I encourage you to take me up on the 30-minute consultation. Simply email me, that's the best way to go, and we'll set up a time to talk over the phone that's convenient for both of our schedules, and we'll see if I can help you or offer you some advice for your business. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time and attention, and it's been my pleasure to speak with you.
Well, if we had met Erika a while back, we would have saved a lot of time.